come vape with me. I'm making the definitive movie on vaping, and this is what it's all about. Vaping is getting nicotine into your lungs, as you do with smoking, with the use of an electronic cigarette. That is an electronic cigarette. It comes in two parts, a battery and a cartomizer. The cartomizer contains the atomizer and wadding, in which the fluid resides that is heated up very high temperature to make vapor. It works on the same system as a nebulizer, so it's your own personal nebulizer, giving your lungs nicotine and removing you from smoking cigarettes. Cigarettes contain all the poisons we've heard about, and they exude secondhand smoke. We've heard all about that too, and so electronic cigarettes are a good way to continue with a nice hobby and not affect anybody around you, and also to give yourself the pleasure of smoking. I'm a lifelong addicted smoker, and I bought one of these electronic cigarettes, there you have it, so that I would have a backup if I was ever in a situation where I had to have a cigarette and I knew I wouldn't be able to smoke. So it was sheer fear that made me purchase one of these newfangled things called an electronic cigarette. Well, I started using it now and again just to see what it was like. Then I thought I'd use it when I went out. So every time I went out I left my cigarettes behind. And then gradually I found I was smoking less and less and vaping more and more. So for me it's been a total success, and I do not smoke anymore. I vape. So here's how it works. With vaping, you have an electronic cigarette that consists of a battery. The battery needs charging, and you get a connecting USB port connector, so you can charge that battery in your computer, or you can plug it into the wall. You plug that in the plug and it can charge in the wall. And then you have the cartomizer. Some systems have an atomizer and a container which has got wadding in it, in which you drip drops of some kind of glycerine mixture. There are two kinds, I'll tell you about them later. You drip that in, and as it heats up with you drawing in through the mouthpiece, it is made into water vapor, which you breathe in through your lungs, and it delivers the nicotine. So that is actually a nebulizer. It works on the same principle as a nebulizer. But I use these, and it's an atomizer and all together with the wadding, and it's called a cartomizer. I find this much easier than popping around with three things. So you've actually got only two things. You've got the battery, which is that, get it straight, and then you've got the cartomizer, which screws in like that, and you're ready to vape. You have to look after your vaping equipment. Your batteries need charging, and your cartomizers need refilling when they're empty. And then also, after several weeks of use, they need boiling for 5 minutes only in a pot, and then when they're cooled down, you take them out, you blow like hell through them in reverse, and then to get the water out, and you fill them, and they just continue working. Now and again you'd have to buy yourself new equipment. Your batteries would probably give out. Your cartomizers would need replacing now and again. So there is a small cost. But overall, the cost of smoking is far more expensive than vaping. Now I've been into this for 2 months, just over 2 months, and I haven't bought any tobacco whatsoever. I've cut down on the use of lighters because I got through hundreds of those because I used to put my cigarette down, and in between puffs it would go out, because it was a home rolled cigarette, and so as soon as it went out I'd light it again. And so I'm what I call a dummy sucker smoker, and I think a dummy sucker smoker who always has a cigarette around would just move to vaping, because it's so easy just to pick up your electronic cigarette and have a quick vape whilst you're doing something else, as you used to do with cigarettes. So for me it's been an easy transition. There are other people that struggle a bit with the desire to have a real cigarette, and I think that's because in the cigarette our bodies are used to taking in all the poison as well, and the stuff from burning leaves coming into us, and we miss it. So now and again that feeling for people who go and have a cigarette, an event, instead of a quick puff like I used to do, I think they'll miss smoking. But even that can be overcome, because vaping has vast benefits. You can vape inside. You can blow lots of vapor if you want to, and muck about with smoke and blow smoke rings. It's not really smoke, it's just water vapor from coming out from the atomizer. You can stealth vape. There's ways that you can vape with no vapor coming out of your breath or your nose, or even from the e-cig. So you could stealth vape. You can also vape without making any vapor. The original e-cigarettes have hardly any vapor in them at all, but as you breathed in, that is water vapor. You're still getting it, but it's not visible, and so you are dosing your lungs with your nicotine. Electronic cigarettes don't smell. The room doesn't smell. The car doesn't smell. You don't smell. You can vape in the rain. You can vape in a high wind. There's no glowing tip to drop on your clothes or on your lap in the car. There's no fire danger. It's very chummy to do vaping together. Only currently I don't have a vaping partner. I'm the only one I know that does it. Smokers accept you. You can go and vape outside with all the smokers. And non-smokers accept you. In fact, they're very interested in your personal nebulizer. The cat stays on your lap if you decide to vape with it there. There's no poisonous substances inhaled except the nicotine and some particles from the glycol or the glycerine, and it's much cheaper than smoking. An e-cigarette has got no burning part to it, so that just drops beautifully in your pocket. You can grab it, drop it in your pocket, and just go out. You have no cost. You are free from the fear of being trapped somewhere, unable to smoke. So I am really enthusiastic about electronic cigarettes. So that is what it is, and I'm just going to talk about the electronic fluid that you put in the cartomizer. So basically there are two kinds of glycerine or glycol that the nicotine comes in. There's that, which is ordinary glycerine bought from the pharmacy. That's vegetable glycerine. Then there's propylene glycol, and that has the nicotine added to it and the flavorants. So that is a bottle of e-juice, as its slang term is, in propylene glycol. And that also, only that's made from the tobacco leaf, and this is made in a laboratory. So if it's too strong for you, you can add glycerine and cut it down to a less strong kind of mixture. So you have control of what you're going to vape with. This particular one has got quite a high content of glycerine. So you can see it makes quite a bit of vapor. So I've been trying all these out. It occurred to me that they might make your heart race or your blood pressure increase, and I've done all sorts of experiments with that, and I discover it does very little to your heart and very little to your blood pressure. So even that way they are safer than cigarettes. They are safer. I said more healthy. Somebody said, how can they be any healthy? Smoking's not healthy and vaping's not healthy, but it's healthier than smoking, and so less harmful than smoking. So thank you for vaping. Blessings.